I now have the length of my head. I've also sewn in my buttons. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew the head up. So what you want to do is get the two corners here, put them together, and we're going to sew along this line here. So you need to leave a little bit of a tail so you can sew it together. So I'm going to put my yarn onto my needle. I'm going to get my head into this first stitch here. I'm going to go in. I'm going to find the first stitch on the other side. I'm going to pull through, give it a little tug. So then I'm going to find my next stitch, go through both. Just pull it a little bit, we don't want it too tight. And then into the next stitch, you gotta try not to miss any of your stitches. So have a close look. So I'm going to carry on and I will meet you just before I finish. So I'm coming up to the last few stitches, just going to keep going. So I have one more right at the top here. I'm going to go into it once, and I'm going to go into it again. Now I'm going to leave a little loop. I'm going to go into that loop, make a knot, and I'm going to pull tightly. And then, while I've still got my yarn on my needle, I'm just going to hide the tail. Then I'm going to cut my yarn. Then we have our head. Now, I'm not happy with the head at the moment, so what we're going to do is we're going to go around the head now, the border, and go back around. So you might want to change colours for this bit, for the edging. I'm just going to stick to my lime green. So I'm going to put a slip knot on my yarn. I'm going to get my hook. And I'm going to start this way. So I'm going to go into my first stitch here. I'm going to come through. Put chain one, then put a single crochet back into the stitch, My yarn has gone very squeaky for some reason. So we're just putting one single crochet into every stitch, and then you're going to come up to your head where you've put your stitches in there. So we're just going to have to find a place for those to go. Just make it neat and space them out evenly so we don't make the hood shorter, and we don't want to increase the hood either. So this is what it's starting to look like at the moment. So if you just find a place for these single crochets to go. And every so often just take a look back, see if you're happy with where you put in your single crochets. So I'm going to carry on and you keep going until we reach the side here. So I have gone round once with the single crochet and I'm actually happy with that. So I'm not going to go back round. I'm going to leave it at that. You can go back round if you're not happy. Just one single crochet all the way around, chain one, cut your yarn. Right now I'm going to chain one and cut my yarn because I am happy with that. That is fine. There's your hood, all done. Right. So now it is time for our sleeve. So what we've got to do now is sleeve, pocket, and sew in our tails and good buttons if you haven't already done it. And then we're finished. So sleeve. Just going to put a slip knot back onto my yarn. So we're going to get our sleeve ready. I'm going to go from the outside, touch our hook onto our yarn, and to pull through. Going to chain 2, 1, 2. Pull the tail back through because it's coming back out. Then into the next chain, we're going to make a double crochet. Now it's important that you count these stitches. I counted on the sleeve and I have 34, so on the sleeve here I need 34 so it matches this side. So I have 2, so you're just going to put a double crochet to all the stitches. So I'm going to do that all the way around. Make sure you count. You can just count when you get back to here, and I will see you when I am at my chain 2. So I'm back at my chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch into that second chain. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. It's single crochet round. I'm going to go into the next stitch, make our single crochets. So it's just a single crochet round, and I will meet you back when we need to attach. So I've come round, you need to make a slip knot into this first single crochet here, and then we're going to chain 2, turn our work. So this is our Alpine stitch row. So if you can see, this is your chain space. This is where you're doing your chains and your slip stitches. So go into the next double crochet, make a front post double crochet. Into the next stitch we're going to make a double crochet. So exactly the same as what you did in your length, just this time we're making it round, which is still easy. You need to make sure you're working from the outside, because if you're working from in the middle, your front posts are going to be this side. But if you are working on the inside, so say I'm working on the inside, all you need to do is make a back post double crochet. It'll be exactly the same. So just keep going with your double crochets and your front post double crochets, because by now you should have got the hang of it. And I am going to meet you right back here, and we're going to connect. So I'm just finishing this row, and I have one more to do. This is going to be my front post double crochet, and then I find my chain 2 space, my chain 2, so 1, 2, and I'm going to slip stitch into there, going to chain 1, turn my work, we're going to the next stitch, just going to make single crochets all the way around again. I'm going to meet you at the end of this row. I'm back at the end, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain 2, and turn my work. So now we've got our slip stitch and chain 2 space. So we have first a front post, so that is now going to be a double crochet. We have double crochet, so we're going to make that into front post, double crochet, and then so on. So this is basically all you need to do till you reach your sleeve length, which I will get those measurements just in case you haven't wrote them down, and I will show you now. So we are doing sleeve. So my sleeve is going to be 16 centimeters. You get your measurement, so we're gonna do this until our sleeve length, and then we come to this part here, which we go into back post double crochets then, and that is for 2 rows of back post double crochet and 2 rows of single crochet. But I will show you how to do that when we have our length. So if you keep going with your sleeve, I will meet you back here and we will finish the sleeve together. I've just finished the sleeve to have my length. Now what I'm going to do is make the roll back for the sleeve. So we've been doing front post and double crochet. So now, because when we roll the sleeve back, we want this pattern to be on the inside, so when you roll it back, this pattern will then be on the outside. So I've chained 2 and I might work up to a single crochet row. Trying to get my cardi to stay. There we are. Right. So now what you want to do is, this is a front post, so we're going to do a double crochet on the top of that, and then you have your double crochet. So instead of going in the front, we're now going to go through the back, round your double crochet, catch your yarn, pull through, you've got 3 loops on your hook, pull through 2, pull through 2, then you have a back post double crochet. So then into your next stitch we have a double crochet, and then into the next we have another back post double crochet, and then into the next double crochet, back post double crochet, so this is what we are going to be doing. So I have done 2 rows of back post double crochet here, but you can do 3 if you like. It's totally up to you, it depends how long you want your sleeve to be. So I am going to carry on this row, then I'm going to do a single crochet row, and then another back post and double crochet row, and then finish off with a single crochet row and I will meet you back here when I have completed my roll back for my sleeve. I just finished my roll back for my sleeve. So now I have chained one. I'm going to cut my yarn. And there is your roll back. So now I'm going to show you how to make the pockets. So I'm going to do my tails after that because I've got to get my needle out anyway. So to get your yarn, I'll move this quickly. So make a slip knot. So now, in fact I need that cardigan. Just need to measure if my chain is okay for the pocket. So start by chaining 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So now what I want to do is just put on my work. Yeah, you can see it's going to be a perfect size because it's going to come together a little bit anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with 10. If you're not, you need to have your chain at an even number. We're all going to chain 1 anyway, but you need an even number first. So I have 10. You will have your number, what you're happy with, and then we are all going to chain 1, and then we're going to put a double crochet. We're going to skip that chain there, put a double crochet into the second chain, and keep making double crochets till you get to your last chain. Should be looking something like that. So when you get to the last one, chain 1 and turn, then going into this same stitch here, make a single crochet, keep making single crochets in every stitch till you get to the end. When you get to the end of that chain, then row, chain 2 and turn your work. So next you want to make a front post double crochet into your first double crochet here, into the next double crochet, this is what you should have so far. Then into your final chain here, pop a double crochet into the end there, and chain one, make a single crochet, here my yarn has been tied, so I'm going to have to snip this little bit off here. So if this ever happens to you, just snip off the fluffy bits. They won't make your work look nice. It's very disappointing when you're doing a project and you get so far into your yarn and it's actually tied. It just disappoints me. It does ruin the project sometimes. So, sorry about that. Yeah, single crochets. See, it's bulky now, where that knot is. Obviously it's just a pocket, I could just snip it and start again. It's not too noticeable, so I'll just carry on. Right, so keep single crocheting. You're at your last stitch here, and then you have your chain two. So into the top of that chain two, you're going to put a single crochet, and you're going to chain two again, and then we started with a front post, so I'm going to do a double crochet into the top of that one, and then front post double crochet into the next, double crochet into the next, And then for the last one, just a double crochet into the end here, double crochet, and that is going to be it for your front post double crochets and your double crochets. So now we're just going to do one last row of single crochets just to tidy up the edge a little bit. So one more row, our pocket will be done. You can make 2 of these if you like. I'm just going to make one for my cardigan, so I think it looks quite cute with one. So remember, single crochet into your last stitch and also into the chain, top of the chain too. And then you're going to chain 1. You're going to leave a long tail so you can sew it in. What I usually do, which you don't have to, but I find it useful, is I measure it like that, and then I cut a little bit more just so I know, well, that's about right. That should be enough. Works every time, so it should work this time. So now we are going to sew it in. First we're going to sew this tail in. So get your needle, put your yarn on your needle, and then you're just going to sew your tail in. Just try not to let it poke through to the front. So go one way, and back the other way. My yarn needle's a little big for this. Maybe I should get my smaller one when I'm doing my tails. So chop the excess yarn off, just like that. And I get my cardigan back. I'm going to show you how to sew this on. So here we are. Put your yarn on your needle. Right, so now we need to line it up, especially if you're doing 2 pockets. You need to line it up so it's nice and straight. You can use pins for this. I have no pins to hand, so I'm just going to do it freehand. So line it up to where you want it. What I'm going to do, I want it on top of my single crochets. So like that. Right, so we're going to take one loop just underneath your pocket where you're going to put it and go through the stitches. Give it a little tug, go underneath, pull up a loop, or you can do 2, 1 should be fine. Go through your stitches on your pocket, the next one's down, give it a little pull, then underneath your pocket again, go through your stitches, So now we're coming to the corner. So I'm going to pick one of my single crochet threads up and just go into the corner like that. Right, so now we're on to the bottom, which will probably be a little bit easier because I'm just going to go into these single crochet little loops here. I'm going to go into the stitch, into the loop and through the stitch. So there's my pocket so far. I need to turn it so you can see it and I can still sew it in. So hopefully you can see it like that. So it's exactly the same. I don't want to grab a stitch from over here, so I want to go as close to underneath here as possible. So I don't want it to be visible. I'm not the best sewer, so yeah. If you have your own way of doing this, please feel free to do it your own way. So at the end, I'm going to do once, do that stitch, and then I'm going to go back through it, but this time I'm going to leave a loop so I can make a knot. So I'm going to go through, my yarn is falling apart, yeah, and then I'm going to go through this loop here, and pull, and then while you've still got your yarn on your hook, you can just hide your tails. And go back up. Look at your yarn. There's your pocket. Obviously just do the same other side. So now all that's left for me to do is my tails. Now I'm going to do these off camera quickly because this video is going to be very long. I do apologise for that. So yeah, I'll go and do my tails and I will be back. So I have just sewn in my tails, and here is the finished cardigan. So we have our hood, and we have the rest of it. We have our pocket, our sleeves, and yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I hope you've found this tutorial useful, and if you've made it this far, a special thank you to you. Please like and subscribe if you can, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.